Hello and welcome back, dear listeners, to our podcast series where we dive deep into the transformative wisdom of Chaupi Sahib by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. This is episode 10 out of 17, and today we're exploring a remarkable verse that reveals the many faces of the divine and the heartfelt plea for divine protection. Have you ever wondered about the different ways the Creator reveals himself in this world, or why, in times of hardship, we instinctively turn to a higher power for protection and guidance? These questions are at the heart of today's discussion. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's words take us on a journey through the vastness of the divine and teach us how to find solace in surrendering to that infinite presence. So, find a quiet spot, settle in, and let's dive into these beautiful verses together. 1. Somewhere he sits joyfully as a king. Let's begin with this powerful image, the divine, seated as a joyful king. This is not just any king. It's a symbol of divine authority blended with compassion and grace. The Creator is pictured here as ruling the universe, not with an iron fist, but with love, wisdom, and an unshakable sense of justice. Imagine a king who doesn't instill fear but inspires trust and devotion, a ruler whose joy comes from the well-being of his creation. This line reminds us that the divine is both majestic and approachable, someone we can look up to, rely on, and feel comforted by. It's also a call for us to embody similar qualities in our own lives. Whether we're leading a team, a family, or even just ourselves, can we rule with grace? Can we lead with kindness? Somewhere he contracts himself as Shiva, the yogi. Now, from the grandeur of a king, we move to the stillness of a yogi. Here, the divine is described as taking the form of Shiva, the great ascetic, the master of meditation and renunciation. Shiva represents wisdom, introspection, and detachment from worldly desires. This contrast is fascinating. On one hand, the divine governs the universe as a king, and on the other retreats into the silence of a yogi. What does this teach us? It shows us that the divine is both active and contemplative, involved in the world and yet beyond it. For us, this is a reminder to find balance in our lives. While it's important to take action and fulfill our responsibilities, it's equally vital to step back, reflect, and reconnect with our inner selves. The divine shows us that life isn't about choosing one path, it's about embracing both. All his creation unfolds wonderful things. This line shifts our focus to the marvels of creation itself. Look around you at the intricacies of a single flower, the rhythm of the tides, or the vastness of the stars. Every corner of the universe reflects the Creator's brilliance. Even the smallest details, like the veins on a leaf or the design of a snowflake, are expressions of divine creativity. This verse is an invitation to marvel at the world. How often do we rush through life, too busy to notice the miracles around us? Guru Gobind Singh Ji's words encourage us to slow down and see the wonder in everything, the laughter of a child, the warmth of the sun, the interconnectedness of all life. When we do this, we begin to realize that every part of creation, no matter how ordinary it seems, is a testament to the Creator's infinite imagination. He, the primal power, is from the beginning and self-existent. Here, we're reminded of the timeless nature of the divine. The Creator is described as the primal force, eternal, unchanging, and self-sustained. Unlike everything else in existence, which depends on something else like sunlight, water, or air, the divine simply is. This idea can be deeply comforting. In a world where everything feels temporary, jobs, relationships, even our own health, there is one constant, the divine presence that underpins it all. This verse invites us to anchor ourselves in that eternal presence. When we feel lost or overwhelmed, remembering this can bring us a profound sense of stability and peace. Keep me now under thy protection. From reflecting on the majesty of the divine, we now turn to a deeply personal prayer. In this line, the devotee humbly asks for divine protection. It's a plea that comes from the heart, a recognition of our human vulnerability and the need for a higher power to guide and shield us. How often do we feel the weight of the world on our shoulders? Whether it's a personal struggle, a professional challenge, or even a moment of doubt, this prayer reminds us that we don't have to carry it all alone. We can turn to the divine, lay our burdens at his feet, and trust in his care. Protect my disciples and destroy my enemies. This prayer extends beyond the self. The devotee asks the divine to safeguard their disciples, those who walk alongside them on the path of truth and righteousness. But then comes a request that might sound intense: the destruction of enemies. What does this mean? In the spiritual context, enemies aren't just external forces, they're also internal ones. Think about the obstacles we face within ourselves: fear, anger, greed, ego. These are the enemies that keep us from living in alignment with our higher selves. This line is a plea for divine intervention to help us overcome these forces, both inside and outside, so we can walk the path of truth with clarity and courage. 7. All the villains' creations outrage, and all the infidels be destroyed in the battlefield. The final line of this verse intensifies the call for justice. It's a plea for the removal of all forces that disrupt harmony, peace, and righteousness. While the language here may seem fierce, it's important to understand the metaphorical layers. The battlefield can represent the inner conflict we face, the constant push and pull between good and evil, between light and darkness. This line reminds us that standing up for what is right, whether in the world or within ourselves, requires courage and the support of a higher power. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's words have shown us the multifaceted nature of the divine, from a benevolent king to a meditative yogi, from the marvels of creation to the eternal self-sustaining presence that holds it all together. We've also seen the beauty of surrender, of turning to the divine in times of need, not just for ourselves, but for those we love. And we've been reminded of the importance of confronting the enemies within and around us, with the assurance that we are never alone in that fight. Thank you so much for joining me today as we uncovered the profound wisdom of Chaupi Sahib. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's verses continue to inspire and guide us, offering timeless lessons on faith, resilience, and the boundless nature of the divine. As you go about your day, I encourage you to reflect on the forms of the divine you encounter, whether in the kindness of a stranger, the beauty of nature, or the quiet moments of stillness. And remember, the Creator's protection and love are always just a prayer away. Stay tuned for episode 11, where we'll continue exploring the rich teachings of Chaupi Sahib. Until then, take care, stay inspired, and may the divine's grace be with you always. Uplifting tune fades out.